Hello Libra, welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Libra is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there's anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Libra, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we start with the art card. This is beautiful. This is art. This is temperance. This is, to me, it's the idea of tempering steel, right? And to me, it feels as if you are, you're somebody that is, you're not just trying to get done with things as fast as possible and push it out, right? You're trying to refine something. You're trying to really mold something. You're trying to take whatever your project, whatever your life is really. I mean, this is kind of a universal thing for you. Trying to be as thoughtful and almost meticulous as you need to be to make it just right. Yeah. So we're trying to take something and make it better and better. And we know that this is kind of a delicate process. You don't want to do it too fast. Maybe at the beginning, think of a sculpture or something, right? Maybe at the beginning you're taking these big slices off of the clay or whatever. Or the plaster, I don't know. But when you get closer and closer to it being done, when it's really starting, when it's really taking shape, you got to get some different tools and you got to be a little bit more delicate. And we're just kind of slowly refining something. A little bit over here, a little bit over there, not too much, right? We can always take off a little bit more, but it's hard to put it back, you know. I feel like it's it's kind of like you're trying to create that perfect dish, right? And so a little bit of this spice, a little bit of this herb, maybe a couple more onions or whatever you like. Not too much, just a little bit. Sometimes it comes, though, to the point where, I've ruined it. Got to throw it out. Got to start again. And this time I kind of know. I'm going to do a little bit less of this, a little bit more over here, and we go through that process again as many times as it takes until we have the perfect sculpture, the perfect painting, the perfect song, the perfect dish, the perfect whatever. Right? This could be something very practical, be a work thing for you. But that's alchemy, right? We're trying to say there's this natural process here, and I'm trying to kind of push it along in a certain direction. I'm trying to kind of nudge the river a little bit. Yeah. And so I feel like you're somebody, I feel like you're an artist. Even if you don't believe that or you don't feel that way, you are. And art really is the way that we all uniquely express ourselves. So this big sculpture, this big block of clay, you may have 10 people in a group. And we've all got the same block of clay and the same knife or whatever. And we're all taking these big slices off and it all looks the same. But when we get closer to the end and it's time for those really fine details, the real refinement, that's where everything now looks completely different. That's where everybody is so unique, right? And I feel like that is your art, your ability to really put your own touches into things. And maybe this is a business thing. I don't know. Maybe it's something at school. You're putting your own flavor into it. It's your kind of unique spiritual signature that really makes it yours. Yeah. Let's see what we're doing with all this. I love that energy. I love the art card. We've got the Five of Swords. Now, the Five of Swords could be the idea that we're not in competition with anybody here, right? But maybe, and we'll have to see with some more cards, maybe you are, in the sense that if this is you doing something at work or at school or in some sort of a, I don't know. Maybe you are trying to do something better than other people do it. Okay? So there is this, well, it's almost this black cloud hanging over things that's just like, it's the pressure. I don't want to, I don't want to be at the bottom. I want to create the best thing that's going to be better than everybody else's thing. Maybe you're writing an essay to get some sort of a scholarship, or you're creating a business proposal, and yeah, it's got to be better than everybody else's, because you want that job, you want that grant or that scholarship, you want that job or that contract, whatever it is. So sometimes we create art for art's sake, and we're not in competition with anybody. In a very real way, we're just trying to make the best thing that we can make that is an expression of ourselves. And, I've tried to do art before. I've tried to draw and all this kind of stuff. And we're only as good as our last piece, the last thing we do. That's the measure of our success. And I've known a few artists and musicians in my day, and there seems to be a common theme here, which is just like, the last album, piece of junk. This one's going to be the good one, right? And so the current thing you're working on, this is going to be the one to top them all. This is the one that's going to be better than all the rest. All the rest were just prototypes, practice. That was just practice. This is the real thing. And of course, when we move on to the next thing, that's going to be the same vibe. So the competition, in some sense, is really with ourselves. We're trying to break our own records, trying to do something better this time, today, than I did it yesterday. Okay, so there is this idea of competition. Now, maybe it is competition at work or something like that for you as well. I feel like this is also, I just want to do better than I did yesterday. I don't care about what everybody else is doing. I want to do the very best that I can. And I want this kind of upward trajectory, and not to think that I've already done my best work and now I'm just kind of gliding down into my twilight kind of, creative years. Yeah. So we have to understand how we put pressure on ourselves in that way, how this kind of competitive energy, whether it is just with you or with others around you, is kind of tainting our experience of creation, of art, of doing this work, whatever it is, creative work, spiritual work, family, friends, business, volunteering, community work, whatever you're doing, whatever your art or your work is, right? I feel like the art card, though, is also the time that you spend focusing on this work and doing this work, refining not only the piece of art or the work that you're doing, but refining you, right? It's that alchemical process. By molding the clay out here on the table, we're also molding our souls. So it really is, life is an alchemical process, right? Whether this is literally a piece of art or anything like that, or I don't know what you're doing. Let's keep going with some more cards. The Ten of Wands underneath everything. We do have to realize when something is finished. Okay, there is a point where, and I think you know this point very well. There's a point in your efforts where you kind of have peaked in terms of your interest, your enthusiasm, your motivation. It's like, now I'm still doing it, but I'm just not feeling it. It's like you're working on something well into the night, but there comes a point where you're just like not really in it anymore. So why keep going? Well, because that pressure, that Five of Swords, we're saying, no, I've got to keep going. We're in competition either with ourselves or with sleep or with, our bodies or with other people. There has to come a point where we just say, all right, if I keep going with this, I'm just going to make it worse, right? Because I'm not really feeling it. It's like that point where you're reading a book and you're so interested in the book and you're reading you're captivated by every line, every sentence. But then a little while goes on, the time goes on, and you find, oh wow, I went through like 5 pages, I wasn't even paying attention. I was reading the words, but I wasn't really absorbed in it. That's what the Ten of Wands is here. It's us knowing that point in ourselves where it's like, okay, I'm stopping for the night. I may be wide awake, I may still have more energy, but I'm just not feeling it anymore. I've passed that point. I've hit that limit where I'm not all here. right? That we may be somewhere else. The Empress. Well, that is nature. That is the perfection, perhaps, that we are trying to attain, right? And I wonder if in your life you've had an experience, you've had a taste of that. I almost wonder if you've experienced some sort of really this. Could it be an inspiration or something that this is, let's say this is the view of the lake, the sunset over the lake, right? Like literally, you're there and you're experiencing this powerful sunset by the lake. And then we go and we try to get our canvas and we try to recreate that. Now I want to make that. It's the same, it's still an alchemical process in the sense that if I can capture that essence of that powerful sunset over the lake, if I can capture that on canvas or with a photograph or whatever, and maybe I can capture that in my soul too. That maybe I can then become part of that spiritual power, that awe, right? Whatever it might be. And so it's kind of like we're taking the real thing, nature, the Empress, and we're trying to then recreate it in the lab, in the art studio, in ourselves. Because our internal environment is the lab. It is the art studio. It's in here, right? Here and here and here. And so I feel that you're trying to create something like that. You're trying to capture the essence of something. And it might be even this kind of childhood experience, a childhood dream, a period of time in your life that now I'm trying to recreate that in my life now. It could be that we had this, we had this spiritual experience, or we had this certain perspective on life in the past, and now we're trying to create that again. I feel like the Empress is that idea of paradise. That is perfection. This is the life that is absolutely the best life that you can conceive of. And I think that this is something real for you. It may be something that you felt you had at one time, okay? Either in terms of, family situation or job situation, relationship, whatever. And now we're trying to do it again. We're trying to recreate that. But I feel like this has something to do with an ideal kind of life, that you've had some sort of vision or some sort of experience of, or some sort of taste of it. And now we're trying to create that. We had this, heavenly vision. We had this spiritual experience. Now we're trying to create it on earth. Trying to manifest the dream, really, in a way. Well, so let's see. Let's keep going with some more cards. The High Priestess. Very interesting. The High Priestess it does tell me that this has, it has some sort of element of that spiritual experience. The High Priestess is like the full moon. It is a waxing moon. It is the widening psychic aperture where we're kind of, and maybe you're a photographer, we're letting in more light, okay, in order to capture more of the energy that's here. Okay, but it's not light per se. It's not like it's really a camera and we open the aperture and then it's just kind of letting in all the light and then our picture is just completely like white, This is the psychic energy we're letting in. So by widening our psychic aperture, we're able to see more of reality intuitively with our third eye, our psychic vision, our spiritual sense, right? Not with our physical eyes. And so we're able to capture more of that. Okay? So it's kind of like if you're at the lake and it's sunset and you think, I know I'm gonna get my paint, my art supplies, I'm gonna paint this. But once we get everything set up, well, the sun's already set and it's kind of dark. So you're trying to just look at the lake and kind of remember where the sun was and what the colors were there and stuff, but there's not a lot of light. Once the sun goes down, it starts to get kind of dark, especially if you're out by a lake. And so you don't have much to really work with. Okay? But then if we think of that sun, when it's fully illumined and it's still high in the sky, or relatively, maybe you got about 4 fingers until sunset, there's a lot more light. Now I can see the trees and the colors. Whoa, I can see even there's some swans on the lake. I can see some birds in the trees, and there's a lot going on here now. It's not so dim. The picture's much brighter. And so then we're able to capture more of that on the canvas or on your film, in your camera, whatever, right? So it's the same idea that I feel with the High Priestess. It's us realizing more of those fine details, being able to see, being able to take in more of the energy of the world around us, not just the very limited information that we take in through our physical senses, right? We open up that spiritual sense, and now suddenly I'm seeing colors and objects and entities that are, beyond just the kind of physical realm, right? Because now I'm sensitive to more of that energy around us, okay, then maybe my eyes, our physical eyes only see a very narrow band of energy, right? So if we open up that psychic aperture, then we're taking in a wider band of that energy, and so we're able to see more and take in more, and that's going to be something that we can then capture, and that's when we really get, I think, these masterpieces of art, these just tremendous, those kinds of artists, musicians, painters, sculptors, photographers, writers, I don't know, everything, all sorts of artists that capture something in a way that I, as in the audience, as the kind of consumer of it, I can feel it. I can see that they captured something that isn't just there to the physical senses. They've captured an essence. Okay? And I feel like that's what the High Priestess is here for you. There's something more than meets the eye in what you're doing right now. Okay? And I think the High Priestess, since it is up above everything, I feel like you know that. I don't feel like I'm telling you anything new. Because I feel like this is a message coming from the divine realm, and this is what you're really meant to capture. This is that true light. The Empress here might just be, this is the beauty and majesty of the natural world. With the sunlight, we can see the colors reflecting, and we, that however optics or vision works, I don't know exactly. And then, of course, the High Priestess is giving us that extra bandwidth to see what was it about this that really is the essence. What is it that you're really trying to capture about this? In your present situation. Let's see what's in the future position. 4 of Pentacles. So that kind of, to me, looks like, well, it's the square. It could be that kind of squarish camera that you're using. It could be the canvas. It could be the life. It's the earthly life. This is you capturing something spiritual, the kind of natural plus the spiritual world together. This is reality. These two are reality, right? Trying to capture this and bring it down to the earthly plane and make it something real and tangible for yourself. So it is the manifestation of your dream. Okay? It really, truly does feel that way. Now, I don't know why I'm getting like a vision of sorts of like bears and like really like big animals. And I don't know what that is for you. I don't know if that's an important animal for you, is a bear or something similar. Okay? But I feel that energy coming through here. Now, let's select the mystery card, the bonus card, the confirmation card. This is the random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to put Mr. Ed, the tiny horse, right there on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together and it will give us the confirmation that we need. Okay. Now, you may notice that we're using a different deck of cards. This is the Millennium Thoth Tarot. By Lo Scarabeo. The artist is Renata Lechner. I decided to pick this up because, as you may know, I've been kind of wondering, well, this is getting kind of old and weathered, my trusty old Thoth deck, which I'm going to keep. We're still going to use it. This will still be the daily driver, but I thought I would give this other pack a test drive, So I picked this up and I really do like it, but I'd like you to let me know what you think. If you like I think the artwork is absolutely stunning. Look at that 4 of Pentacles. I mean, that really does convey a powerful message, right? That we're trying to take something that is subtle, that is limitless, that is infinite, and we're trying to bring it down to a finite place. trying to capture the essence of reality. And maybe you're a photographer. I'm still getting that idea, okay? Because I feel like you're that artist that tries to take something that is just, it's infinite, it's eternal, it's magical, it's intangible. You're trying to take that and bring it down into a little form, into something concrete, something solid and tangible that you could say, hey, look, you know. And I think we do have to go through many iterations. We think of a photographer takes 1,000 photographs until they find that one that captures the magic. Yeah. But I'm still getting that idea that you don't really consider yourself an artist, or you're not a conventional artist, let's say that. Okay. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It is totally free, doesn't cost anything. Let's talk about the path of the serpent now. We've got that lust or strength card as your general energy. That is really the passion for life. This is what you feel in the moment. This is the feeling of that sunset, that powerful sunset over the lake. This is the feeling that we can grow to infinite heights, and I can reach up and I can pluck a star out of the sky and pin it to my shirt or my tie or wherever, right? Put it in my hair. It's that kind of majesty that we feel when we're in this Empress plus High Priestess mode. And that's what we're trying to capture. It's that spiritual experience that we're trying to bring down into a tangible place. We're trying to create the Philosopher's Stone. That substance that can transform just a base metal into gold, right? That can turn something that is fallible and corruptible into an infinite, magical, golden spiritual thing. And that's not easy. And that's the art card. That's your alchemical work. I don't know where it's taking place for you. I don't know if this is in business or school or literally art or photography or painting, sculpture. If you're a writer, whatever it is that you're doing, maybe this is something for in terms of family, friends, if this is a romantic situation. But this is that experience. This is kind of this is the feeling that you're trying to convey to others, to the world, through your work. This kind of passion and magic and power, right? This is heaven and earth combined into just, it's beyond words. I have no way to describe it. But it's very passionate, it's very powerful. I feel like this is your general energy right now, and it's a very good energy to have. But what's in the environment currently? The Four of Wands. Again, this idea that we've gone through many iterations of something. So I think that we've had some pretty good experiments. I think that we've gotten close to success, but something hadn't been quite right. And so I think that we kind of, it's almost like we're going back to the spiritual realm to have the experience again and say, okay, now we're going to go back and look at the sunset again. I got to go back tomorrow night at sunset over the lake so I can get that experience again, and then I can try again. Because I feel like this is kind of like a cycle. There's been many, many times around, but it's not a circle. It's more of a spiral. Every time we go around and do it, we're capturing a little bit more of that infinite essence of something, right? It's like you're taking New Orleans and putting it in a bottle, How on earth do we do that? How do we do that in a way, for you, I think, it's the refining. I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep going. And maybe this is a life's work. And maybe you're literally trying to take New Orleans and put it in a bottle. It's something that's going to continue on, and you're going to keep working at it through these cycles. And it's a spiral. It's going to keep moving forward, sometimes slower, sometimes faster. But it feels like it's an ongoing process. There's always more refinement being done. So we got a 4 here. We've got a 4 of Pentacles. And what we know about the 4, we got fire and earth, impulse to behavior, the creative will, and then the crystallization of it, right? This is the spiritual circuitry. This is the path of the electricity of creation, right? Fire to earth, heaven to earth, impulse to behavior, will to action, inspiration to implementation, right? But it's a 4. And we know that the 4s always imply the 5. We have a 5 of swords even, right? So as much as you are kind of, it's like we're in the laboratory and we say, look, I made something, and that's a 4. But then our 5 of swords kicks in and we think we're competing against someone, against ourselves, against whatever. Then we kind of have these thoughts like, I can do better. I must do better, right? And then we go back to the laboratory and we try again. And I think some iterations are more or less successful. But are we searching for a type of perfection that's unattainable? And see, I feel like that's kind of a paradox, or a conundrum at least, a bit of a pickle, really. Because we're going to strive and strive and strive for this ideal of perfection, but maybe we know that we can never quite get there. Oh, now we got a 5 of wands. We have 4, 4, 5, 5. So the thought of I can do better, I need to do better, the thoughts of, oh, I can see some flaws in here, I can see that this is not quite right. Then comes that 5 of wands and we start again, right? And we continue the process. And maybe that's kind of, this is the card of the obstacle, the difficulty. Maybe the fear, worry, or concern is over here in this position. And if I would say there's any difficulty in this reading at all, it's the tendency for us to go from 4 to 5 to 4 to 5 to 4 to 5 to 4 to 5. And we're continuing to do that on and on and on, which of course is the spiral, right? And so I feel like it is something that is there's an evolution here, right? It's not just kind of a static circle that just keeps repeating. It's not Groundhog's Day. That we are evolving through and you know what? Even the movie Groundhog's Day was not Groundhog's Day, because it may have been the same process over and over again for Bill Murray. Love Bill Murray. I heard he's a fan of the channel, that he watches his readings. Shout out to Bill. Where the Buffalo Roam is really, I think, his best work, honestly. But he's done so many good things, Anyway, he was changing. Through that movie, there was an evolution of his character. There was a development of him as a person, his character in the show anyway, in the movie. So it's not a static repetition. The 4 of wands is not just literally repeating the same things over and over and over again. I guess it could be if we're not learning anything, if we're not changed by the process. But I think it's impossible to not be changed, at least in some way, by everything we do, by every cycle that we're involved in. Okay, creative or any cycle in any way, right, for all of us. But if we do so intentionally, and that's the work of the alchemist, that's where the art comes in, that we're doing it intentionally. If we just let nature take its course and we just don't worry about it, it'll happen. It may take a lot longer. Evolution, whatever, that spiritual evolution or physical, whatever, takes a long time. But if we have some sort of intentionality behind it, if we try to nudge the river a little bit, we can make it happen faster because we're taking an active role. We are now co-creators with the universe, with nature. Okay. Let's see what our outcome is here. The 2 of cups. Oh, I thought it looked like a 3. This is the 2 of cups. Wow, even better than the 3. The 2 of cups is love, right? The 2 of cups is realizing that we are on this process. And honestly, what was the whole kind of theme or the whole lesson of Groundhog's Day, for those of you that know what I'm talking about? It was love, man, That's what his whole development was. He started out the movie complete asshole, excuse my language. But by the end of it, it was all love. That was his development, okay? And so I feel like the more that you are refining this work, the more you are involved in this cycle, this evolution, this spiral that you're in, the more you are evolving into a pure kind of essence of love. And maybe love is the essence that you're trying to put in a bottle, that you're trying to really capture through your life, through your work, through the manifestation of this dream, right? Because I feel like your dream life's waiting for you, right? And I feel like it's crazy because it's like it's here, but we're going through these cycles of trying to refine it, trying to make it better, better, and better. And so every day, every cycle of our life, right? The 24-hour cycle of the earth, or the yearly cycle, the monthly cycle, the lunar cycles, the planetary cycles, all of those things. Throughout all of these cycles, we're trying to improve and refine and to make some sort of progress, right? And it's a progress toward a more pure experience of love, of connection, of happiness, of everything that stems from a union of you and whatever, you and the universe, your spirit and the universal spirit, right? And of course, pets, plants, people, friends, family, loved ones, everything. Your purpose, your job, your work, your every single thing. And that's what the Two of Cups is. It's a very pure love. This is love that kind of trickles down to everything else. I mean, this is very close to source, right? It's just the ace and then this one. So this one is not yet split into all the rivers. This is where the water is flowing now, and it's going to branch out into every other area of your life. This is really what we're working toward. A pure experience of love in all of its forms. Okay, not just the obvious kind of romantic thing. Yeah. Let's look at the mystery card, okay? Let's see where this is going. Obvious answer, 10 of Cups, right? I mean, when you think of when the water starts flowing, it's going to branch out into all these different rivers. Well, then we've got the 10 of Cups. Yeah. So it makes perfect sense to me. That's what I'm going to predict. If you have a guess or a prediction or an answer or a thought, put it in the comments. Let me know what you think of this tarot deck too. I find it to be very powerful. I really do like it. And it's hard for me not to just want to use it every day too. I do really enjoy this. And it wasn't given to me or donated, or it's not sponsoring or anything like that. I'm not doing a review of it. I purchased it off Amazon. So maybe I'll throw an affiliate link down in the description box if you want to pick it up too. But, in my personal opinion, I really find it powerful. And I'm thinking 10 of Cups. Oh, so close. So close, right? But it's a 9. And I feel that this is even better. Okay? I'm not bothered by it. Okay? I'm wrong, but just barely. Because this is now, the river is flowing. It has flowed out from the ace, from the source, from that spiritual realm, that infinite. Right? That spiritual water, that love is flowing out, branching out into all these different rivers. And it's not stopping. It's a 9. It is a function. It is a process. It's a verb. Right? If we had the 10 of Cups, it might say that the water has flowed out and it's reached the end and that's it. But since we have a 9, it's saying it's still going. It's going to continue branching out and nurturing and nourishing other lands and other places and other areas of your life. It's not just the romantic love. It's not just kind of the kindness and the connection with your friends or your family love. It's not just the love that we have for nature, for our pets, our plants, right? We think of, again, Groundhog's Day, Bill Murray, right? That's a love that it wasn't just the romantic love. It was a love for everybody. It was a love for that silly little groundhog by the end of it, right? It was a love for everything. It's just a general love for life. And now it's kind of flowed out and trickled down to every other area of life, as it should. And this is the happiness that keeps on happening. This is the dream that keeps on dreaming. And this is your dream life. Living in a way that every aspect is filled with love. And we keep doing the work. We keep going on this cycle and these spirals to ever refine our experience of love, generally, all over the place in every aspect of life. And by doing your work, you're continuing pushing this river And it's branching out into different little streams and creeks and stuff and ending up in people's wells and all this thing, you know. Very, very nice. I love this card very much. And I love the whole reading for you. I think this is really, I mean, this is crazy. This is really, really nice. We are going to do an extended reading, too, if you want to stick around. There's a link up top. There's one down below. New readings for Libra Wednesday and Saturday, 6 a.m. Chicago time. But I'm here every day. Just come on back. See me tomorrow. Okay. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It is totally free, and it doesn't cost anything. Leave a comment. Let me know where in the world you're watching from, especially if you are a new viewer. Welcome. Thank you for taking a chance on these readings. Leave a comment, give a shout out, let me know you're here. I appreciate you. I want you all to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we're all in this together.